real quickly and click that, so that way it's going out on the streaming in case anybody wants to watch it
Sure,
from
that's
that
fine.
perspective. And I'm going to try to do my best to go over this with you and play this with you. My friend Dave, who is the co-designer,
Hmm.
he was supposed to be here with me, and he has to do some work around the house. So
Oh,
it's
understood.
a little
We all have real
trickier.
lives.
Yeah, I mean, like for me to demo this game at WBC, which is where we were supposed to be demoing it this year, it's pretty easy. But trying to demo it here, play, and control all the different things gets a little
I,
trickier sometimes. So
Dude, I'm totally sympathetic. So,
bear with
I'm just
me.
letting you run. So,
Hmm.
anything you need me to do, let me know.
Okay, well, we're gonna get started because I'm not seeing anybody else showing up.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start going over the game with you and talking about the game with you a little bit, and a little bit of the the differences and how this game works as compared to the other one, since you know the other one so well. So obviously, this is the first thing you should know about this game is that this is dealing with World War II, and it is dealing with the German invasion and the Soviet invasion of Poland in 1939. This game basically came out of, as I said, Brave Little Belgium. Um, Brave Little Belgium, the idea for that was Dave's. He had visited Belgium back in, I don't know, long time ago and thought, oh, it'd be really cool to have a game on that. And at WBC, gosh, a few years back, he and I were talking, and I had already designed one little card game by that point, I believe. And I was looking to, design other things. And he said, well, what do this is an idea I have. And I said, oh, well, that's really an interesting idea. Well, let me see what I can do with it. And then that eventually became Brave Little Belgium. And while we were working on Brave Little Belgium, Dave had a lot of other ideas. He had like 3 or 4 other ideas that he wanted to do. And one was another World War One type idea. And I kind of looked at it and tried to see if I could do it. And I just couldn't really make it work the way I wanted to make it work. And it was real hard to find information as regards the order of combat and things like that. So I said to Dave, I said, look, I'm really struggling on this, man. Why don't we try something a little different? I said, I have an idea. I said, we did beginning of World War One. Why don't we try the beginning of World War Two, and we'll do Poland in 1939? And Dave was kind of like, oh, I don't know if that's really going to work. I said, well, let me put something together and let's give it a try. And we did. I put something together using a lot of the same rules as Brave Little Belgium, and he liked it, and it worked. I mean, it basically worked. And then we did a lot of play testing and whatnot, and made some changes and whatnot, and did some things obviously different in this game that made it its own unique game in a way. And then obviously that became White Eagle Defiant, which we then pitched to Hollandspiel at the same WBC you were at. Is where we pitched it to Tom at the WBC, and Tom took it
Oh,
back to
cool.
Mary because Mary is the one who makes decisions, and we sent a copy to Mary and Tom, and they liked it. So,
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. They're a really nice couple.
yep. I haven't met Mary in person yet, unfortunately. And we were supposed to be back at the WBC again this past summer,
Yeah.
as I told you. We only worked like Friday and a little bit on Saturday at the Hollandspiel table. This year we were actually supposed to run the whole table. Dave and I were going to run the whole table for them, and unfortunately that all fell apart. So we're hoping by next year that comes back together. I mean,
Good luck.
we were really hoping that it was going to work because we were going to show off White Eagle Defiant and show off Brave Little Belgium and show off a lot of the other Hollandspiel games that we know so well. Because one of the things that I always tell people is that I didn't pitch my game to Hollandspiel just because I was looking for a company to make my game. I pitched my game to Hollandspiel because I liked what they were doing.
Yes.
And I
You should
made,
see my shelf.
oh,
It probably looks a lot like yours.
yeah, mine's pretty
I don't
stacked.
know when I'm going to play Westphalia, but, it's like, how can you pass this up?
I may have just come across a copy of that game that I might keep for myself. We'll see.
Okay. Okay,
So,
good. Well,
yeah,
well, that's
so,
that's a goal for next year, bud. We'll
yeah, that might be.
try to get 6 people together and play Westphalia and have everybody come around and go, "What's this?"
I like that idea. So, yeah, I think Tom was actually playtesting Westphalia at that convention. That
Yeah,
that
that's why I just saw it and I'm like, he says, well, you need exactly 6 people to play. I'm like, whatever, we're a bunch of gamers. Gives
yeah,
us something else to whine about.
yep,
It's
yep.
it's fine.
I like it. So, this game has a lot of the basic mechanics from Brave Little Belgium, but it has some differences. Okay, so it's still a chip pool game, just like Brave Little Belgium. It doesn't have the militia like Brave Little Belgium, so we won't be rolling for militia to start off with. We'll get right into the action of things. It has the kind of bucket full of dice, simultaneous combat that you're used to in Brave Little Belgium. But there's some units that have special abilities, primarily the Polish
Okay.
cavalry and the German panzers. There are
Okay.
some different events that differ between this game and the other game. This game does allow for limited recovery of troops, which we'll talk about. This game does have a little bit of its own unique sort of reinforcement type thing, and we'll talk about that as we go along. This game is not a destroy the fort and get over the line game. This game rather is a capture victory cities game. So that's one of the things that you're going to be doing in this game is if you're the Germans is trying to take over cities. So in looking at the map, you notice it's also a point-to-point map, just like in Brave Little Belgium. The black lines are all one movement point, and then there's these kind of like circles, white circles with black in them. Those are the more difficult routes. They're down in the lower hand side by Slovakia, and those are 2 movement points. You'll see that some of the cities are in black, and some are kind of surrounded by red. The ones surrounded by the red are the victory cities, and the black ones are the non-victory cities. And then you also will notice that there's some cities that have little like a little gray, a little shaded in area attached to it. Those are fortified cities, just like in Brave Little Belgium. So the fort and the troops are all in the box, and then as the Germans bring in or the Soviets bring in forces to attack, they go into the siege box. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
The turn length is a little different, and the number of end turns is a little different in this game. So you can see at the very top, it shows what turn we're on. We go all the way up to turn 10, and you'll notice that there's actually 4 end turns instead of 3. So when we're pulling from the chip
Oh,
pull, there's
okay.
actually 4 instead of 3. So each of those turns equals 4 days. Sorry, I got to take a drink of water. So do you have a preference in regards what side you would want to play?
No, no, no. You do whatever. Now it's showing me. I don't know if I did this wrong or not. Ryan, I joined the server and everything. I'm just a spectator here.
All right. Well, what we need to do is, and that's no big deal, was we need to put you on one side or the other. So I'm just going to change your color, and I'm going to put you down on. I don't know. I'll put you down here with red. Okay.
That's fine.
And I'll put myself down here with white.
Oh, good, good, because that big gray circle that was driving me crazy is now gone.
Yeah. So,
Makes me much happier.
well, the big gray circle, that's for people that want to be like game master. So they want to be able to see like what's
Gotcha.
in everybody's hand and stuff like that. Otherwise, it would be you would only if it's a card game. It's not a card game, but if it's a card game, you would only see what's in your hand. When you build the game, you can place yourself on different sides of the board. I did not actually build this module. Someone else that was really a fan of the game built this module. So this is my actual first time playing this module as
Okay,
as
well,
well.
I think I just downloaded this because I went to, I was on Steam,
Mm-hmm.
went to Workshop, and
Yep.
this was the only one I saw.
Oh,
So
good.
I'm assuming it's, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and the way I shared it with you with the server, I think you actually when you join
Hmm.
into the server I create, even if you don't have it, it downloads all the files.
Oh, good.
So
Well, yeah, because I've actually, now that you've set me up here, I can move stuff now.
yeah, you should be
So,
able to move stuff.
yeah, that's
So
good.
I
I
think
can steal your dice and,
oh yeah
all
yeah
this
yeah
stuff. So,
yeah, and he put in some special things like there's a little rolling pad there and stuff like that, and
yeah,
you know
it's
I've
funny.
I've not used a lot of this. So I think that probably the best would be if you were the Germans and the Slovakians and the Soviets, and so that way you're on the attack, and I'll be the
Sure.
Polish. And again, your goal is to try to get as many victory cities as possible. You can see kind of, and I'm going to try to do this if I can. All the way up at the top. It's been a while since I've used Tabletop Simulator.
Take
You're
your
saying
time, man.
you're
I'm just
saying
trying
you
to-
you said it was a long time since you used it. I'm looking at it going, man, I haven't
No,
used
no,
this
no.
in a
If I'd said that, but I misspoke.
Mm.
I've like the only game I've actually played on it
Uh-huh.
is like chess.
Okay.
So I'm like,
Okay.
that's hard to screw the rules up on.
Well, let me
I
show
actually
you
got
a
this
couple
for a bunch of
things.
friends of
Yeah.
mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, please
Um,
give me the whole.
Yeah.
And you
If
don't have to
you
worry about giving me the entire like how to do everything in Tabletop Simulator tutorial.
well,
because I'm probably going to go to Carl and Tim's thing.
yeah,
tomorrow.
Tim. Yeah, he'll teach you. So if you hit escape and you hit help menu, it gives you all the different things that you can do. So
Oh, that's awesome.
So I think that's probably the most critical thing that you're going to
Okay.
want to do. So for example, hovering over a chit and hitting F is flip. So that's going to be something you probably need to do.
Okay.
Let me see here. I need to take my glasses off. WASD, up, left, right, down, just like in a classic game.
No, it's funny. It's like you think what we're doing here is a bunch of moving virtual cardboard around, and we're using first-person shooter controls. That
Yep.
cracks me up.
Yep. So
Yeah.
like I'm going to hit W to kind of go to the top so I can look at the turn track and the victory track a little bit. And then I'm on a mouse. I'm sorry, I'm on a Mac, so I'm using the little Mac finger swipes in and out to go zoom in and out a little bit. You can see there's a zoom in and out for you as well, and yours would be like, I don't know, are you on a Mac or a PC?
I'm on a PC. I'm trying to remember how to do that. Is
Yeah.
that?
Like a wheel in the middle, if there is a wheel
Yeah,
in
I've
the middle.
got that.
Yeah,
and I
that should
guess
do it.
My
That should do
thing
it.
is like, when I do that, I can
Mhm.
see the counters are great. I mean, I can see the Orzawa and Prusi and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
I guess my question is, how do I go up to the top of the board and like zoom in on the turn track? I haven't figured that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. 1 second, okay. Try the W key.
I was gonna light a fucking.
Yep, that's correct. You should be able to zoom in.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble.
Dude,
Uh,
if you need to take we got all kinds of time here, and
Yeah,
this is like
yep,
bonus time for
yep.
me. So if you need to stop and deal with a little one or something, go for it. And
No,
I
I
understand.
think he's okay now. Okay, so yeah,
This
that
is just like being at work, right?
yeah. Well, actually, no. When I'm at work, I'm in a little better shape, for some reason. Anyway,
Well, I'm working from home, so anyway.
no, I am too. I'm a teacher and I work from home, and normally it's a little better at home
Oh.
when I'm doing that. For some reason, I really don't know what's going on right now. But anyway, take a look at that turn track because that's going to be kind of crucial as we're going along.
Yep.
This is like Braveville, Belgium, in that there's kind of possibilities for victory and possibilities for
Sure.
for draws. So if you ever get up to 12 victory points, okay, and we're going to track victory points by every time you take a city, we're going to remove these little wooden discs off the victory track, and we're going to place it down on the city that you take. Most of the victory cities are 1, with Warsaw being 3. If you ever get to the point where you're up to 12 victory points, that is a automatic victory at the end of any turn. Okay.
That's perfect.
If
Now, when you say end of any turn, Ryan, is
Mhm.
that end of my turn or end of you have a chance to respond?
no, I have a chance to respond. So, like, say you're in
Okay.
turn 6, and you're at 12 victory points, but not all the end of turns have been pulled yet, then we continue till all the end of turns are pulled. And then as we're moving from turn 6 to 7, if you have 12 victory points, then you win. Okay?
Gotcha.
Now,
Gotcha.
if after turn 8 you have 9 victory points, that's when we start checking. Well, it's after turn 8 that we start checking for the victory. So there's kind of an instantaneous victory with the 12, and then at the end of turn 8 we check. If you have 9 victory points at the end of turn 8, it's your victory. At the end of turn 9, it's a draw. Anytime at the end of turn 10, if you have 9 victory points at the end of turn 10, draw. If you don't, then the Polish win. Okay. So that's kind of how that works. It's very similar to Brave Little Belgium, but a little bit different at the same time. Now, if you notice also on the victory track, you'll notice turn 3 says Allied involvement possible, and turn 5 says Soviet entry possible. Well, that is all dependent on victory points. And the basic concept here is that the better the Germans are doing in this battle, the more likely that the Soviets will come in and get involved, and the less likely that the Allies will get involved. So if at any point past turn 3 you only have 0 or 1 victory point, then the Allies are going to get involved on the other front. So it's basically going to be the French invading on the other front, on the other side of Germany. And the way we simulate that is that you're going to have reductions in your rolls, which is not good for you. So you can see there would be either a -2 or a -1 in your rolls, which obviously is not something that you're going to want. In a similar vein, if after turn 5, during turn 5, so this would be during these turns, you have greater than the number of victory points indicated here with that little line, okay, then the Soviets will enter the game, okay, which is really, really bad for the Polish. So as the Germans, you're trying to get in, you're trying to take as many victory cities as possible. At the same time, you're trying to prevent me from taking victory cities, and you're also trying to prevent me from attacking you in East Prussia. There's a couple forts in East Prussia that you control at Königsberg and Lutzen, and you definitely don't want me to take those because I will get victory points for those. In other words, or you'll lose victory points for those. Okay? So that's something that you definitely don't want to have happen. Okay, if that makes sense. So
no, it does. I know that the Polish, the whole thing is that they just got overrun, but they had counterattacks and all kinds of stuff. So
yeah, they did. They
was
did. And there was some. I mean, and there were some choices made by the Polish that not to defend in certain instances, like down in Krakow. And so we're basically in this game giving the Polish to if they choose, lead at a full-out resistance or try to counterattack if they want, or they can try to just close in and retreat as much as possible and keep just strong forces in certain centralized places. So there's a lot of different possibilities here of things that you can do. What else do I want to tell you? That's probably it for now. We should talk about stacking. The stacking is a little different in this game. In the previous game, it was just a number. I believe it's 8 in the previous game. You can't have more than 8 in a certain area. This game's a little different. In any one area, you can have up to 2 infantry and 1 of each other individual type of unit. So what does that mean? For you as the Germans, you really have 3 types of units. You have infantry, panzers, and you have some light armor. Okay? And I'm going to just show you what that means if I can. I'm going to try to zoom in here and show you. I'm going to go look at Nutstetten and show you what I'm talking about over there. So you can see there's infantry here. There's a 4th. There's a 4th. Okay? I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to drag them off here a little bit. I'll probably go down here. So you see how he gets a 4th and a 4th? That's 2 infantries. So that would be a legal stack. Okay? Now, this here is a panzer. Okay? That is a legal stack. Okay? So that's a legal stack of 3. Okay? You would not be able to put another panzer on top of that. Okay? You can only have...
So if I can... So if I can peek, I've got a Panzer,
Mm-hmm.
I've got an infantry,
Mm-hmm.
and I've got another infantry.
Yep.
And okay, so I didn't see that. Well, this is pretty good.
So
This
that,
thing's playing better than I thought it would.
and I'll put them back up here. Now there is one light armor unit in the game, and I'm gonna have to remember where it is. My brain is going today. It was a
Dude,
long
trust me.
day.
I
Yeah, just go ahead and play and look at your counters. I think that will help you. But there is in one of the areas a light armor unit, and when you look at it, you'll see it. It looks a little different than the Panzer. There it is.
okay.
See it right there, the 10th. Okay, so
Okay,
it is
and I know this is a light. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it the one that you got in your hand?
that
The
one right there.
armored cavalry-looking thing here.
Yep, that one right
Okay.
there. So it has the line through it, and it
Sure.
doesn't have the double dice in red. Okay,
Okay.
whereas the other one is a Panzer. So like,
This cracks me up. So this is what I love about Tabletop Simulator.
yep,
Is it works with the physics and all that.
yep.
But sometimes it's like the worst of both worlds.
Yeah, it is kind of. Well,
At least we don't have to trim our counters, but
we mostly use it for development purposes.
Makes sense.
My friend Dave and I, who developed together, we don't really use it much for playing. We normally use Vassal for playing, and we use this more for development purposes. Because, like, if I'm like if you look at one of these counters, like that's just an asset, and if I don't like that asset, I just replace it with another one by right-clicking and loading in a new picture, and that's a lot easier. And I can do it while working on it, while seeing it. I don't have to go out into another menu in Vassal and then do it, and then go back in and look. Okay, that looks right. So it's a godsend for developing. It's just
Okay.
not as good for playing. Now you will see that some of these ones have little dots at the top. Like see how the AGS, which is the Army Group South, has a little dot at the top, and there's another one up here, Army Group North, how it has a little dot at the top. And I think these were actually pulled over and not on the actual thing originally. They were over here somewhere. Those can't move the first turn. Okay.
Okay.
That's
So that's just a reminder. Sure.
They can't move the first turn. Now, you really don't have many other movement restrictions as the Germans for most of the game, other than those two that can't move the first turn. The Soviets, obviously, they can't come in until the victory condition is right for them to come in. The Slovakians down here in Pressov, all the way down in the south, they can come in, but they can never move more than 2 points away from Slovakia. Okay? So just be aware of that. That's just a limit of their movement restriction. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of movement restrictions. You can't stack with other armies, so you can't like stack the Soviets with the Germans or something. That would make sense. I can't leave Poland in the first turn. So as a Polish player, I can only leave Poland after the first turn. If eventually the Soviets do come in, if you have any Germans past the line that goes straight down through Poland, it's that division line that the Soviets and the Germans agreed on. If you have any troops over across that line, basically in the east part of Poland, you have to start pulling them back. You have to start bringing them back into the western part of Poland. Okay?
Okay.
And the Soviets can't go past that line at all. If for some reason you cannot get all your troops back across the line by the end of the game, it's actually a deduction to your victory. So that's why you want to make sure that you have all of them back, because you'll actually will lose one victory for everyone that's over. Okay.
Okay, that makes
So
sense.
it's just some of the little restrictions in this game. So this game is a little bit more complex than Belgium, as you can probably tell.
Yeah, but
One other thing I want to tell you, and then we'll get rolling, is that this game does allow for supporting and primary units. So normally, like I said, you can't have more than 2 infantry and 1 of each other type. Okay, which normally amounts to no more than 4. Okay, sometimes it's no more than 3 because of the units you're using. However, you can bring like 3 from one direction and 3 from another direction into the same battle, temporarily overstacking. You assign 1 to be the primary, 1 grouping to be the primary, and 1 grouping to be the support. Okay? and then they are then used in the battle, with the primary units taking the initial hits, and then if they are all defeated, then the supporting units taking the secondary hits. And then there's some retreat things that have to occur depending on whether you lose or win or whatnot, which we'll get into as we get into the game. But I wanted you to be aware of the fact that you can bring in supporting troops as well. Okay? So
That sounds great. Okay.
the Army Group North is the group that's going to start this war. Okay? And so you'll see that up in the Chitpul area, that's already been pulled. Okay? So that's going to be used. So that's all your forces that are in green. So that's the ones at Nutzatin, except for the Army Group North that we talked about. Forces in Allenstein as well, over in East Prussia. Okay, so you are able to move any of those forces into the battle. And movement-wise, I guess I should tell you that. Infantry can move 2, cavalry can move 4, light armor can move 4, and armor can move 4.
Okay, so infantry's 2, and basically everybody else is 4.
That is correct. That is correct.
Okay.
So I'll let you go ahead. Oh, and I should also say that at this point, we are assuming that Danzig was already taken over. That's why there's one victory point in Danzig, as you see there. That is a victory city. It's just that, it was a little bit hard to figure out how to handle Danzig because it is its own unique place. So we just assigned it to be already taken over at this point. That just simplified the game a whole lot. So
it'll give somebody something to complain about, dude. That's a great idea.
Well, what I always
It's
say,
a simple game. You're trying to be elegant.
Yeah, what I always say is, if you want to go and simulate what happened in Danzig, then there are some other really great games out there, including the one that David Thompson is not released yet. It was just on Kickstarter. The one about the postmen in soldiers' uniforms or whatever it is.
Oh yeah,
that one.
Crazy.
There you go. You can go
interesting guy.
You can go simulate Danzig right there. So that's what I tell people.
Yeah. I just picked up his whatever that is by Stealth and Sea. The one with the man torpedoes. Yeah.
Yep. Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
So
if I ever get time, that's the problem is we have too many of these and we never get to play any of them. That's one reason I wanted to make sure I played this. I'm glad you were free.
I am. My son seems to be doing a little better. He's giving me thumbs up.
Okay, cool.
Okay. He's on his computer now, so he's a little better. Okay.
How old is he?
He is 13. Just a little rambunctious today.
No, Okay, so let's see. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay.
I probably should have mentioned those are the forts, but I figured you probably knew that from the Belgian game.
No.
Yeah, 1 second.
When will you be done?
Sure.
In a little while.
You'll have to take those upstairs.
I will. Yes, so that's an interesting... So one of the things that's in... I should have mentioned that. One of the things that is in Brave Belgium is the atrocities. Okay? So if, as the Germans, you don't pull all the chits that you want to pull and activate all your units, you have that option at the end of the turn to risk committing atrocities and allowing you to pull the extra units. Now, we debated about, hey, should we include atrocities in this game? Because the concept of atrocities in World War II and World War I are obviously a little bit different. And we looked at various possibilities, but we decided it just was not feasible and not really in the best of taste. So what we did instead was we simulated the same concept, but with what we call the Blitzkrieg breakdown. So if at the end of the turn you have not drawn, and in this case you only have to draw 2. You only have 2 activations, so that makes it a little easier. But if you don't draw both activations and you wanted to draw one of the activations, you wanted to move the Army Group South or you wanted to move the Army Group North, you can, but you risk committing what we call a Blitzkrieg breakdown. So you're going to do a roll just like you did in the atrocities in Brave Little Belgium, with a 1, 2, 3 meaning nothing happens. But a 4,
Right.
5, or a 6 means that there is a tactical or a logistical breakdown in command. So you'll still be able to move, but you're going to have a -1 to combat rolls and a -1 to your movement factors. Okay?
That sounds great.
So
Okay.
that's kind of that there. All of the forts in this are 2 strength forts. And you can see because they have the little 2 pips on the top hand side. So it's just hit once, hit again, and then destroyed. So,
Got it.
and the 2 dice in the middle are just to indicate, hey, when you roll for the forts, you're rolling 2 dice.
Right.
Oh, and the panzers, I should tell you the other thing. The panzers, you can see this panzer up here, has a little special ability too. So you roll 2 dice on the panzers instead of 1 when they're at full strength. If you get, in this case, these are not very strong panzers; these are 6s. So if you get a 6 on either one of the dice, you get a hit. If you get doubles, you get 2 hits. So if you get 2 6s, you would get 2
Oh,
hits.
nice.
So that applies to
Gotcha.
if it's 4. If it's a panzer, that's a 4. Then it's 4 5 6. If it's a 5, it's 5 6, etc. etc. In addition, one other thing
Right.
that is a little bit different, I didn't mean to do that, is with my Polish cavalry. They have a little bit of a special feature as well, in that they hit first. Okay, so you remember how in Brave Little Belgium all the hits were applied simultaneously? For the most part, that's just how this occurs in this game as well, except for my Polish cavalry. My Polish cavalry get an initial roll, and that hit gets applied immediately to you. And
That's fine.
that's to indicate like their knowledge of the landscape and the countryside and the ability to surprise a little bit and things like that.
Okay, great.
So feel free, as I said, to move any of your troops, and we'll get rolling.
Right, sounds good.
Your green troops, I should say, because we
yeah, just I'm just looking at everything
Yeah,
else. But
take your
it's-
time.
Yeah, I did actually see that you actually pulled the chit. So
yeah.
now, is that always set, or is that just what we happen to pull this game?
No, that's always set. Army Group North invaded first, so just like in Belgium, you know how we have the cavalry come in first? Same concept.
Yep. Okay, so I've got in Poznan, I've got these 2 really nice units of yours.
Yep.
So I'm thinking, because I'm just going to be boring. Well, I don't know. Don't know what's going to happen next. We've got.
Well, you can either do, traditionally what Germany did, which, was kind of pushing in towards Torin there and over, and with the Allenstein trying to come down towards Modlin, or you could try something different. Trying to drive some of those out of Poznan and then over, lots of different
Well,
possibilities.
Poznan's nice. It's yeah. So
And you got
but I
to
don't-
you got to think about Poznan. I mean, the thing about Poznan to think about is,
I gotta wait
how.
and see what I'm gonna get for it. It just depends.
Well, the other thing about that is you got to think about what I'm going to do. Like, am I going to leave my forces there,
Absolutely.
or am I going to pull them out? Is it worth it for you to start trying to invade and go towards Poznan, or just the threat of you being there? Will that force me to pull back? And that's a lot of what the Polish did, was pull back. So they didn't have to attack some of these key places like you're looking at.
Okay, so everything that's in. Okay, so Victory Point cities are donated by. Is it just the dark?
The victory point cities are indicated by red around. So
Okay.
Poznan, Danzig,
Oh, right. I'm sorry.
Gdynia,
Danzig. Yeah. Okay,
Modlin,
if I
Warsaw.
move down to Neustetten and you run in there, it doesn't really make any difference.
Yeah, you do need to hold them. Okay, as I said, it's not just a capture and destroy. You need to have been the last person through it. In other words,
Sure.
so if you leave it empty, that's fine. If I have the ability to take it back over, I might choose to do so. Okay.
Right.
So you have to kind of
And
make
I'm
that
assuming-
choice.
Yeah, and I'm assuming these guys that have dots that are setting off to the side just start in any city on that front
Uh,
that come in as reinforced?
no, that one starts at Nutstetin, and the other one starts at Nice down the bottom. I normally,
Okay,
I normally,
just make sure I don't
yeah,
move them basically.
I normally
Gotcha.
have those when I play the game. I normally just stack them at the bottom of Nutstetin. But the
That
person
makes
that
sense.
played this, they stuck them to the side there. But yeah, they start at those two cities right there.
Okay. So now, do I attack from adjacent, or do I have to act? Do I go
You
into
you would go
the city?
into the city.
Okay. So, and these are only movement of 2. So we're gonna be not terribly subtle. We're gonna go here,
It's fine.
here,
Mm-hmm.
here,
Okay.
and then from Allenstein, we got those 2 guys are okay. And then there's these guys that are okay too. Got a lot of good troops. Well, let's see what happens. We're gonna pop over here. Sorry, I guess I should have offset those.
That's okay. You're fine. So we have one battle then, which is going to be this one right here, right?
Correct.
Agruzias. Okay.
Okay, so that's cool. How are you pointing?
I just found out about how to do that. You hit Tab over top of wherever you are, and it does that little pointer.
I got a ruler.
Did you hit Tab?
So that's the difference between PC and Mac, yes.
Oh, interesting. Well, I did. I get a ruler too, but when I hit it, it puts it in. You're not getting that when you put that in. Yeah, that's interesting. You get a ruler.
There it is.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I have an arrow now.
Oh, okay.
It's just weird.
So over on the left-hand side is where the different things are. So
Yeah.
there must be. If you want to go back to grab, it's on the top there. You can click grab. It's on the top. That gives you the
Okay.
hand back.
Yeah, so I don't want rulers. Okay, that
So
sounds great.
you know, we can play this here, or we can actually literally try to take this down to the battle board, which either way is fine.
I'm fine if you just want to do it, whichever works
the
for you.
combat is over here, obviously. Well, I don't know. Let me see what we got. So you have those.
I mean, usually what I would do is just drop them in the Baltic Sea and fight, but
Yeah, we can
whatever.
do that. That's fine. That's
Like we
fine
used to
with
do in
me.
the old Avalon Hill days.
That's fine with me. And you were attacking this one right here.
Yeah, and so simultaneous. I guess now, do you get your cavalry shot first?
I get my cavalry shot first.
Yeah,
So,
it's the bottom one. Yeah, there you go.
so I'm going to do that cavalry shot first, which is so it's not very powerful. It's a 6, but I do get to roll that first. So I'm going to go over and I'm going to try this little hit roll thing that he has here. I've not tried this really much. And I'm going to place that there, and we're going to try to see how well that works. I got a 4. So I missed. So
Okay.
I will go ahead and roll for my other one, my infantry. And I did get a hit with my infantry. Okay. So
Okay.
you should
So what
roll.
we're trying to do is not wipe out the board, So, because I'm sure if I took these, I could do that. All right, that's great.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
if you take them, if you have a die and you just hit and you hover over it and hit R, it will also flip.
Okay.
Whatever you prefer.
Yeah, I'll use the little tray. So I've got. I guess we'll start with a 4.
Okay, that's fine.
Is that is it-
I think it did roll.
yeah, it's just weird.
I
Okay,
don't
so
know if I
that's a
love
hit.
that.
No,
No,
it
that's
should,
that's
it
a,
should be. If you're gonna animate, it should look better. So
that's
I got
that
one hit.
that's a miss actually.
Oh, I'm sorry, I need a 4 better.
Yep.
Duh. I think I'm playing House Divided or something.
Yep. So that would be for the other infantry, the 5 infantry.
Yep. Nope.
Okay. So now roll 2 dice for the panzers. And they hit on a 6. Did that flip both of those?
I don't know that it did.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
why-
move them out here
yeah.
and try this if you don't mind, and
Yeah,
I
go
won't
ahead.
count both of them because we know one was a miss. All right, so I got one.
One hit. Okay.
So that's out of all that, which is about right actually.
So you got to take a hit. I got to take a hit. So I'm going to hover over my infantry, and I'm going to take that as a hit. I'm going to move the combat out here because you're going to end up having to retreat because
A losses were even.
Yeah, we're even. So you take one as well now, and you'll have to decide which one you want to take. Now, just notice that if you do that, that's fine. You lose your special ability on that, so you have to decide whether you want to do that. It's fine if you do. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, I'm just playing. So if I hold this up here and I flip, all right, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you
that'll
need to
work.
put that back wherever that came from. So they came through what, Allenstein, right? So
Yep.
they need to go back from where they came.
All of them go back to Allenstein.
Yep. So
And I'll just
now that
leave.
you have a unit that is reduced, I should mention there is another option for when you draw a counter, when you draw a chit, and that other option is recovery. There is a recovery in this game, unlike in the other
that's cool.
game. And you can see it down there on the bottom. There's a little thing that says recovery. Game starts, recovery counters flip to blank side, etc., etc.
Yep.
It's not a huge amount of recovery, but basically you can pick one of your units that is flipped, and you can flip it back to full strength if you draw
Gotcha.
the chip matching it. Now, if you do flip it back to full strength, you can't move or use that one in combat. You can move any of the other ones associated with that chit. You can combat with any of the other ones associated with chit, but not the one that you flipped. And you get one recovery a turn. Okay?
Gotcha.
So that's what these are for. So we just bring those over
Okay.
to recovery to mark. If you use recovery, we're going to bring that over to mark.
Oh,
that
got
you
it.
use.
So I'm not pulling the unit down physically and then trying to remember where the heck it is. It's just marking whether I've used the recovery.
Yes,
for that group or
exactly.
not. Okay,
Exactly.
Cool.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that is basically that. So I think we are to the point where we're going to draw another chit. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a chit. And in this case, you can see it is a special
Oh boy.
event. And you know what? I'm actually going to flip this one. I don't know if he has it. No, he doesn't have it. I'm going to move this one over so that we have it out of the way. This is a special event, which I can't even see because... which is a sabotage. Okay, so
Right.
this is very similar to the sabotage from Brave Little Belgium, in that I can use that on you to reduce your movement by 1. Okay, so I might say before movement, sabotage, and then you'll know, oh yeah, okay, I have to reduce my movements by 1. Okay, of course I'm not going to use it now. I'm just letting you know.
Sure.
So let me draw another chit from the bag, and let's see what we get. Okay, that is another of mine, and I don't know why I'm rotating them.
Is there not a Control Z that lets you back that up?
I
Interesting.
don't know. And by the way, these counters, I mean, they don't say anything on the front, but if you actually flip them, they do tell you what they do. Okay,
Oh, good. Great.
so that makes things
Thanks.
a little bit easier.
That helps.
Um,
Yes, it does.
So that's the PZL P11, which were the Polish planes, which don't get a lot of credit. They actually get a +1 to all Polish die rolls in one combat, no restrictions.
Okay.
So that might be something that I'll use later on as we move along in the game. So let's see what else we got here. Man, why am I pulling all of the special events from
Yeah.
me? So that's
You're
armored.
doing great.
That's armored trained. That's a +1 to all Polish dies in 1 defense, only within the borders of Poland. 'Cause
Okay.
I'm not running armored trains out of the borders of Poland. So I'll just move these down here. Yeah, I mean I'm doing great on the chit trail, but it's not helping you at all. South. That is me. Okay, so you
Yep.
can see that's my purple guys down here in the south. And just to kind of show you what I have here, it's just a fort up here, but I do have some forces down here in Krakow. I have a cavalry. I have an armor, not a panzer obviously, but an armor, and I have a infantry, and I have a reduced force down here. And notice it's a reduced force, but it has a little 2 there down the bottom. That means that if this guy survives to the second turn, On the second turn, he is flipped to full strength because he gets reinforcements. If he gets destroyed,
Okay.
which is always very likely, then he does not get flipped.
Which makes
So,
sense. There's no unit left.
yep,
Sure.
I'm going to move him back to there to cover that city. And I am going to... I don't know what I'm doing to these things. I am going to move that cavalry to there. And I'm going to move... I'll keep that guy there. Okay? And that is what I'm going to do for the south. Let's draw again. And now I got the central. I don't know why I'm getting all of them. I'm going to shuffle that again, make sure that's all good and shuffled. So these are the blue guys in the middle. And the blue guys in the middle are Warsaw, Prusy, Lotz, and Poznan. And see, that's the thing. Remember I was saying, what's he going to do with Poznan? Am I going to really try to retain that or not? And I don't want to do that. I'm looking to see what I have here. I have 2 infantry here. I have a cavalry and infantry here. I'm actually going to go and back that guy up there because I really don't. I'm not so worried about keeping Poznan. I'd rather have him pull him all the way up here. I'd rather have these in different positions, more centralized.
Sure.
And notice this also has a reduced one that will flip later on, and it has a another one that would reduce later on, and then I want to see something here. Okay, I have to look at that again. There might be a mistake in this module. I have to double check it against the other things. We'll leave it for now. So I got a couple that are reduced that will get better, up to full strength by the second turn. So that's all I'm going to do, okay, with my forces. You can actually see there is a guy out here, but he's flipped, and he is reduced at this point, but he has no movement he has no indication of anything on him. That means that he can't move. He can't move or do anything until the 4th turn. I thought the armor here could not move to the 4th turn either, so I'm a little confused as regards why that is that way, and there might be a mistake on this module that we need to get fixed. Maybe I don't have the most up-to-date module, but we'll play it as is for now. It's not crucial.
Sure.
That's all I'm going to do for Poznan and those areas.
Okay.
So let me go ahead. Oh, there you go, south. You go start moving your south, guys. I'm going to go grab a drink of water. I'll be right back. Yeah, as I said, I didn't design this module, and I did have the individual make some changes that I'd noticed as I was going along. But yeah, the Warsaw one is incorrect. I'm going to have to get him to change that. So that Warsaw armor right there in the middle is actually an armor that does not move and can't do anything until the 2nd turn. It's supposed to look like the one out in Pinsk. If you can see that one.
You mean the 4th turn?
Well, that's the 4th turn. This one is the 2nd turn, but it should look like the one. It should not have a die roll or anything like that. And I thought he had changed that. I might have the, not the newest version, so I might have to make sure I download the newest version. So
Ryan, when I go from say Prasoff here,
yep.
I'm sorry I can't move those yet, but just for argument, when that shit comes up, assuming if I'm lucky and it does,
it did already.
It
did already. It's the brown. We don't consider that any different than Army Group South because they were pretty much.
I can move it now.
You can move it now.
Okay, so I've got a movement of 2. Now the dotted line, does that stop me?
Yep, that's it.
Presnell?
That's it. That's 2.
That's what I thought.
Yep, you got it.
So So the reason you moved is good move. The reason you moved to Lvov is so I can't take out Karpati on first turn, which
That
is fine.
that was my concept, yes. And I wanted to defend that victory city back there if I could.
Sure. So you got Katowice and you got Krakow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 3 dice. That's pretty bad. But I could get a whole bunch of stuff up to potentially. I could do this too. Those guys are pretty good.
I'm just checking to make sure we don't have anybody else here. Nope, just us.
No, take your time, man.
Making sure we don't have any chats or anything.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I got 4 windows going, trying to figure out everything here.
I totally understand.
When I teach, it's actually easier because when I teach, I have one Google Meet and I have one window with all my other browser stuff, which is like my PowerPoints and everything else. Well, Google Slides, rather. So it's actually pretty easy because, just 2 windows. But this is like, I have OBS, I have Tabletop Simulator, I got Discord, I got YouTube.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff.
I believe I have moved every single unit.
Okay, great.
So I grabbed Poznan, and so I
by going through it, good,
dropped it. Yeah. So I just went up here and then over here.
Good. Do we have any battles? Looks like we do not have any battles. Am I right?
No, I'm a coward. I'm one of those guys never gonna get promoted. So go ahead.
Fair enough. So there should be still one more activation for me.
Yep.
Okay, so there's a special one for you. That's a Stuka. I'm going to move these over just so. And that's a special event for you. And the Stukas give you +1 to all German die rolls in 1 combat without restrictions. So that's a nice one. Unfortunately, I don't know that you're going to get to use it, but we'll see. So we're going to get a lot of end of turns here because that's a lot of what's left. Blitzkrieg, that is another special event. That's +1 to all German die rolls in only attack. But
I flipped it twice.
That one cannot be used against a fort.
Sure.
And in fact, that's one of the things I should have mentioned. The special abilities of the cavalry and the special abilities of the panzers are not. You cannot use those in a attack against a fort. Okay.
That makes sense.
Those special abilities go away at that point because you're not. Yeah. So what else? There was something else I wanted to tell you about that. The other thing about the Blitzkrieg special event, which is nice, is that there is movement after combat in this game. In certain instances, or advance after combat in this game, you have to have an advantage of 3 to 1. So the attacker has to have 3 to the defender's 1. And you can't suffer any hits. Okay? Now...
Oh, so it's basically an overrun rule.
It's like an overrun rule. Yep. Now, you can ignore the 3 to 1 advantage if you have Blitzkrieg event. Okay, so if you have that event and you've gone through combat and say you only had 2 units there, and you can say, well, I have Blitzkrieg, I didn't get any hits, and you can then move 1 additional and do another attack. Okay?
Okay.
This is probably going to be an end of turn. End of turn. I think I still have 1 more activation, so I'm not going to get it, I don't think. And you already had all yours. See, there's my north. And I'm unfortunately not going to get it. And there's another event there, which is the Luftwaffe. And the Luftwaffe is it has 2 possible uses. Okay, it can be used for a sabotage against me, reducing by 1. And if you're using it during a Polish combat, you're allowed to if you're sieging one of my forts, I have the option to try to fire at you, just like in Brave Little Belgium. And you know how in Brave Little Belgium you can use Big Bertha, and that allows you to fire back.
Right.
This one allows you to fire back as well. Okay.
Nice.
So that's a couple of the different events there. So I'm going to actually just throw these all back into the bag.
So how are you grabbing these? Are you just kind of...
just doing like a start at one end and it draws a little box.
Just doing a group thing,
Yep.
Sure. Makes sense.
There is a
Yeah.
group button, which is a G. If like you get them all, and then you can.
It makes more sense. Mouse controls. That's fine.
Well, except when I don't do it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's
And
the worst of both worlds.
and then I'm going to
'Cause you
move.
get physics.
I'm going to move your army group north into Nusatin. Okay. Because that
Yeah, I think I got the ones in Nessa
You did.
set up properly.
You do.
Okay, great.
And I am going to flip this guy now, because he is going to be full strength. And I am going to flip this guy now, because we got reinforcements coming into Warsaw. And I'm going to flip this guy now, because we got the reinforcement there. Okay, so the only one that's still flipped and not reinforced, oh, this one too. The only one not reinforced is this one, and that one takes till the 4th turn. Okay?
Got it.
So we're going to move a turn. And you're doing real well, because by taking that Posden, which, did I let you get it? Maybe. But I felt like I wanted to try to defend a little bit. I'm not having the ability to get down into these areas where the Allies would get involved. Now, the question I'm going to be playing with now is, do I try to go and attack into East Prussia? Because you do have a vulnerable fort a little bit here at Lutzen. And so, it would be tempting for me to take some of my forces from Nauru and try to get up into there. So it's something that you need to take into consideration as well. Okay. So I think we are good for the next turn. It looks good to me. So let's go ahead and pull another chit, and we immediately get an end to turn.
Wow.
Let me make sure these are all shuffled.
So how did you do? Just like double click on that, or
It's a right click and shuffle. Right click and shuffle.
got it? Okay.
Okay, so my central is going to activate. I kind of like where my central is for the most part. I don't know if I like these guys. Let me see. Do you have kids there too?
Nope. No, I'm good actually.
Or you're talking to yourself, or
Yeah.
what is he?
I'm
What is he
muttering.
going to do?
Pretty much. I'd do this if we were sitting at the same table in person too. So don't
That's
worry
cool. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do here.
Take your time. Tell you what, dude. What you're thinking? I'm gonna grab some tea real quick.
All right, that's fine. Taking a break.
Okay, back.
Okay. No problem. So I'm done moving. I just moved my guys back into Lublin.
Mm,
Just protect that victory city there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull another chit. And actually, I'll just put these over here. And south. You. So don't forget about your ability to do support type things. That's really crucial. So it's not necessarily just one army. You can use multiple armies coming from multiple points. Okay.
Well, I thought about attacking Katowice last turn, but I kind of wanted to wait
Mm-hmm.
until these other guys came in, so I had some
Yeah.
not cannon fodder, but some weight.
Yep.
But
I understand. Yep.
So I could. We got these guys, and we got. Gotta be tough. So that's 3. Okay, so we're just gonna move. Now I can't grab the whole stack, can I?
I think you can if you highlight the whole stack, or if you I think if you yeah, there you go.
Yep,
You
got it. There we go.
Or it might be like
Alright,
a
so we're
long hold might do it too.
We're gonna attack Krakow rather
Okay.
than dump my guys on top of yours, if that's all right.
That's fine.
I guess technically I could just do this. That'll work. And then
So we're gonna go to we're gonna have a battle down there. Okay.
yeah, so I'll just grab all of these and pop them up here.
Well, let's move. Let's do all your other movements first.
Yeah, and so 1, 2. Oh no, I wasn't gonna combat. I'm just getting them out of the way, so I don't forget. So we got that stuff up there. That's a hard nut to crack. So, okay. 1, 2. I guess, am I supposed to be doing this? Just drop them here, I guess?
Yeah, just drop it right there. That's fine. It's a little.
And,
Let me adjust that.
and then these can all... Yeah, I know, it's just... This stuff's crazy.
I can adjust that a little bit. I don't know. I'm just moving it over. I probably wrecked it a little bit, but that's okay. That way it's like a little bit further
Yeah,
over.
thank you. It's a little cleaner.
Yeah.
And then, so I guess if I want to take this whole... Well, this stack isn't going to work so well. Alright, so this is the... So if this comes around, and then this comes around, and then this goes in there. So all of that is 1. I don't know if that works, though.
So you're bringing the forces around. Okay.
I actually can't do that. I'm just trying to get... So it's not actually going to work as well as I thought it was. All right, so I'm learning about the game. So
Well,
what was put everything back
what
where
was
it was.
your thought there? Can you tell me what your thought?
Well, sure. The thought was I was going to swing some of these guys around to attack from Cheshachua, and then I was going to bring the other stuff in from Cleveland.
And then you were going to declare one to be support and one primary?
Yeah, except
Yeah, you
that
could
it
do
doesn't
that.
work because the infantry in Cleveland, it takes them 3 spaces or whatever. I mean, it would kind of work. I guess it would work.
Yeah, 1, 2. Yeah, no.
See, here's the thing though. If I swing all the armor around north and east, well, I can't get another infantry coming down from.
No, you couldn't. You couldn't. I mean, you could bring it. You could bring that the army group south. Bring that over to just north of Katowice, and then get it prepared for the next battle.
I could.
That might be the way to do it, or you could just bring in the stuff that you got right now to the
Yeah. So that
west.
stuff up there, that's a 4.
So that's all we're doing.
No.
Okay.
I'm just making sure I know what the heck I'm doing, because you do have 2 units there, so I really do need to have 1 more. Okay. Because Katowice is pretty awesome, tough. So
Well, those units were down in Krakow.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at I'm not saying what I'm doing very well, but I should be able to do that, and those 4 can now attack those 2 if he swings through here. Correct?
I don't know where that guy started. Oh, he's coming down that way and then over. Yeah, he can do that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let's do that, and then we'll just start getting other things ready to go.
Okay.
So we'll go 1, 2,
I see what you're doing now. Okay.
1, 2,
I got you.
group, and then these guys can just hang out and look moderately threatening.
I got you. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then now this guy, they're pretty much the same thing. Says, do I think I can roll better than you?
Basically, yes.
Yeah, and I'm not really feeling it. So we're gonna go here, and that's gonna be my support group for the other combat.
Oh, so bring him up then. If you're going to bring that in as support, bring that up.
Yeah, and I'll just put him over to the side so we know that.
That's fine. Okay.
Yeah, what I would normally do during playing is just kind of drop him here or something. But
Yep,
I guess
yep.
that's as long as we can remember that.
Well, we have a battle board down the bottom if we wanted to use it.
Yeah, but we're good.
Okay. I think we're good then. So so you have the Germans are the primary, and the other one is the support, and that support
Yep.
came through Tarnow, and you had some that came through Ostrava, and then some that came. Well, did they all come through Ostrava?
They all came through Ostrava.
Okay, so that's
because I don't think I've violated my stacking limits because I got two of these and a light and
Yep,
a
you're
Panzer.
fine.
So,
That's perfect. That's perfect. And
Okay.
I don't have any special here, so mine's just are the normal rolls. So this is all going to be simultaneous because I don't have a cavalry or anything like
well,
that.
go ahead and do yours if you want to. I'll pull my junk out here. Yeah, if you're gonna make a big rolling tray, yeah.
Well, I mean, like I said, if you don't want to do it, it's you
No,
can
no,
just.
no, go. I'm commenting on his design, not yours.
So I'm going to roll for my armor, which is a 5,
Sure.
and I got a hit, and I'm going to roll
Yep.
for my infantry, which is a 4, and I got another hit.
Okay.
It's not animated, like it doesn't jump
It
up.
doesn't look. It looks weird. I
Yeah.
mean, it's probably right, but so I got to take 2 hits. Neither one of these is a cavalry, so I'll just remember to do my 2 hits. Now, what I'm curious about is if I take. So let's just, for purposes of argument, let's say I grab 2 of these dice, right?
Yeah, you can just roll them
And
there
I
if you
wanna
want.
roll these. Yeah, I just.
Yeah. Did you hit R?
Oh God. No, I did not. Sorry.
So you can roll them if you want to, or you can take
But
them.
I mean, what do I do? Just let them
Yep,
go?
there you go. That's the roll.
Oh, that's so fun.
All right, we'll do.
Especially since the numbers are better. Okay, so they both hit.
What was
so
what was that you were attacking with? The Panzer.
The Panzer. That's
So
why I rolled
that's
the 2 dice.
that's 1 hit because you didn't roll a double.
Gotcha.
That's a
Gotcha.
special. That's why it's coded red there. So,
Gotcha.
but that's 1
So
hit.
I got 1.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's 1 hit.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. And so we'll do this again. Then I've got all of these guys. Sorry, I guess I should zoom in and see what they actually are.
Well,
I've got 3 4s.
3 4s.
So there's no reason to not just roll. We'll
Yep.
just roll 3 4s.
Yep.
Whoop. Go back here and go. Oh, come now.
I'm waiting for you to grab them.
They're grabbing. So what I do is right click and roll.
Yeah, that will do it.
That looks much better.
So that's 1 hit.
So I got 1 more. So that's a total of 2 hits.
But you got your support troops. Don't forget them. You get 1 more roll.
Right.
So you can.
So I'll grab one of these,
Mm-hmm.
bring it over here,
Mm-hmm.
and just roll away. Boom.
And you hit.
And I got a 5.
So that's
So
awesome.
that's 3.
That's 4.
That's 3 hits total.
4
or 4,
Was
sorry.
it 3 or 4?
Yeah.
No, it's 3.
No,
It's 3.
it's only 3 because I didn't get the
Yeah.
double hit on the
You're right.
Panzer.
I had
We
2.
both got excited.
Yep. I got 2 hits and you got 3 hits. Okay.
Yeah, so that's enough to bump you and make you move, I think.
And we were at
Down here with
crack.
the combat shit.
We were at
Yep.
yeah. So this is interesting. So yeah, I am going to have to lose one of my forces, and I'm going to lose that guy, and this guy gets flipped. Now you almost surrounded me,
Yeah, I know.
but I can
Yeah,
I can
if
still
I'd come
I can
from,
still go back to there.
Yep.
So I'm
Now,
going to go back to
remind
there.
me, Ryan, you
Mhm.
cannot retreat into enemy territory. So, like, you couldn't potentially retreat into Prasov down at the bottom in Slovakia, right?
No, I cannot. I have to retreat towards Polish units outside of Poland must retreat towards Poland. So if
Gotcha.
I'm outside of Poland, so if I'm like deep into East Prussia, like say I'm attacking Königsberg, I need to retreat back into Poland. So probably I'd have to go back towards like Danzig if it was controlled
Gotcha.
by me. But yeah, I'd have to
That
start
makes sense.
retreating back. If I'm like in Malawa, no, I got to retreat back towards Poland. I can't retreat in towards East Prussia or something. So yeah,
Great fun. Okay.
I'm just looking. I'm when we're playing, I'm looking at the rules, just double checking to make sure
No.
it says all that. You know, and sometimes I'll
That's
say
great.
something, I'll be like, oh yeah, that, and I go, oh wait, no. and
Well,
and I was just playing a different game earlier today, so
Right.
because I was playing a different game, my brain's still thinking about the different game as well.
Totally understand. A friend of
So-
mine once asked me, how could you forget that rule or whatever? And I'm like, dude, how many games do you own? He's like, 5.
Yep,
I'm
there
like,
you
I
go.
got 400 games banging around inside my head. You've been in the hobby a few years. Come back and ask me that again.
So
So
you're
I totally get it.
yeah, it's worse when it's your own game.
Oh yeah, I understand. So
So the Bernalac has to retreat back to Tarnow. It cannot stay because that would overstack. And
but otherwise, if I had not violated stacking limits, they just all stay in Krakow, right?
well, if you hadn't violated stacking limits, you wouldn't have had a primary and a support.
Well, that's true.
You would have just had a primary.
yeah,
So yeah, you're
yes.
correct. So that wouldn't be quite the same. So bring your other troops. We'll remove that
Got
combat.
that. Thank you, sir.
And then move your other troops back. Did you take your hits?
No, I need to do that first.
And then place them back
Probably ought to
into.
go back and look. So I've got 2 I've got to take, right? So just out of curiosity, I'm not sure I like that.
And technically, you probably would have had to. I mean, technically, the Bernalac can't stack with the Germans, so that would have been an issue anyway.
Right.
So really, they are
Point.
in this case more of a
Because
supporting.
technically, even though they're part of the group, they're still different armies.
They're still a
Got
different
it.
army. Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
So
Try
try hitting G. Oh, there you go. Sometimes it'll stack, perfectly when you
Yeah,
pop
I
it
just
back.
keep dropping them until gravity takes over.
Okay, let's
I'm
pull.
learning.
Let's pull another hit and see what happens. Oh, you get. Did you pull down a victory point for yourself?
Oh, sir, I should have. Thank
Because
you.
that's Krakow, so you're gonna want to.
Oh, heavens me. No. Right, I gotta zoom in some more, Ryan. Give me a sec.
It's fine. Take your
This
time.
is
A lot of this is
like-
just a lot of this tonight is just learning TTS, and that's totally
Yep.
fine.
and I appreciate the tips on that. That's awesome. All right, so now we'll do this again. Drop these puppies back in there. Boom. All right, we're good. That looks good. So okay. So you got that. So we're up to 3. So I'm doing modestly well. All right,
Okay.
and you're up, sir.
I just got a text message I have to deal with. Okay, so let's pull another chit and see
Well-
what we have. North. There you go.
Okay,
It's
I'm
you-
gonna go ahead and say this.
Mhm.
This is great.
Uh-huh.
I've got a really good feel for the game.
Okay.
So I'm probably gonna pick it up. But if at any time you need to go deal with family stuff or whatever, but I'm
I am good. I committed till 7 at least, so I am good for right now. I just
okay.
I have a lot of hats that I wear, and
Yep.
one of the hats I wear is as a union leader, and there was a bunch of issues that were coming up this weekend that I'm trying to deal with. So that's why I was getting.
I'm just
That's
saying
why
at
I'm getting text
6:30
messages.
we've been-
It's fine.
going
No,
for a while.
I committed.
Okay.
I committed till 7. It's been a crazy day. I'll tell you what I did this morning, real quickly. I had to go pick up some games that I've won at auction out in Frederick, Maryland, and then after I was done that, I went out to this guy's house in Middleton, Maryland, to see because he had some Avalon Hill games that he wanted to sell. But then as I was talking to him, he had some other stuff that he wanted to sell. So what I ended up getting from him was pretty awesome. What I couldn't pry out of his hands was even more awesome, and it was a little. So he had The big thing I couldn't get out of his hands, which was disappointing in many regards, was an original Dungeons and Dragons white box.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a 5th printing, so it was not a real early printing, and it wasn't one of the ones with the wood grain box. But he had all 3 of the original manuals, plus he had about a bunch of the supplements. So I think that was probably a good $500-600 worth of stuff there, just in that one box. And I was like, I really was trying, but he had so much sentimental value. He was one of the first guys that started playing D&D back in the 70s in Maryland and playing with that version. So it was really hard to, but I did come home with,
blame the guy.
yeah, I did come home with like 11 Avalon Hills and a copy of Wings and Dauntless, a bunch of Champion stuff, which is exciting. A copy of Boot Hill, which was exciting. A 3rd edition copy of the Gary Gygax Chainmail, the medieval rules. A bunch of old Judges Guild stuff, real original stuff. Sorcery and what's it called? Sword and Sorcery. It's the Red Book RPG.
Right.
Bunch of those. I came home with some Stratomatic stuff.
I used to play Stratomatic.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I came up with a lot of really pretty cool stuff. And then from the other auction, I got a copy of Wizard's Quest and Conquistador and a couple other sports games. So my trunk is full of games right now. I gotta go empty it.
Jeez. Yeah, I just like to say though, the problem is finding time to play all of them. But yeah.
Well, I do buy and sell as well. So some of those are going to get sold. There might be one or two I might have to keep.
I remember playing Conquistador with buddies of mine, and there was a new John Southard one in that same genre that's coming out from, I think it's Compass.
Yep.
And I thought, oh, this would be great. I love John Southard's games. And I look at it's a 2-player game. I'm like, no, not worth it.
The 2-player Conquistador game. That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's like one side's a Conquistadors and the other side's not. That's just like being the Russians in the 1941, East Front game. It's just not very much fun.
Now the SPI Conquistador that was in the magazine and the Avalon Hill Conquistador, are they the same game?
Yes, they are.
That's what I thought. They're both
Avalon Hill, when SPI was getting tight for money before they went out of business, they sold Freedom in the Galaxy, Conquistador, and you'd be surprised how many people don't know this. The old Panzer Army Africa game.
Yeah, that is too.
Almost everybody owns the Avalon Hill version. That was an SPI game.
How about Panzer Group Guderian? Was that one of them as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was also, That's you can make an argument that's like the best magazine game ever, because you think of all the stuff that spawned, the untried units and all that stuff.
Well,
that was an S&T game.
That is some of the inspiration for the militia in Braveville, Belgium. That came straight out of Untried. Now, I will admit it came from the Leningrad game, not from Panzer Group Guderian, but it's the same concept.
Same concept.
Yep.
I mean, they did so many. Jim Dunnigan, people used to say, oh, he just designs all these games and they're pretty good. I'm like, yeah, you means you didn't really play very many of them.
So your north forces can move at this point.
Oh, okay, cool.
And this is the point also you want to think about whether, you want to do any recovery or not as well.
Yeah,
I don't know if you have
about it.
I think you have a force up there that's weakened, I believe, in East Prussia, but I could be wrong.
No, you're correct. I've got some things I've taken some hits, but I think we're just gonna go full bore and try to come after you here, because Grudziad's looks kind of tough, like it might be a good. So let's see, what can we hack that with? You got a 6 and you got a 5. So I think we're gonna go boom, 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 and we'll drop your guys up here. Sorry, I usually put them the other way, but we're not worried about being geographically correct. And I don't think any of these guys can go because I only got 1 light army unit, so 3's the usual stack. So we will then run these guys over here.
Are they coming in as supporting?
Absolutely. So
Uh-huh.
I'll just put them over here in Lithuania.
Now,
or whatever else.
one, well, no, it would be too far for the infantry, but the panzer could come in.
Oh, that's correct. It will be. I keep forgetting they
Yeah.
can't move through.
But
No force marching in this game.
the panzer could come in though, as a supporting.
Yeah, so we're gonna drop this, and Mary Inverter and the other one will come in.
Yeah, that's
and we'll
fine.
just put it over here to the side so we know.
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to take
And,
and oh, you got another movement. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm just trying to decide if I want to jump Modlin here, too. I'm thinking that's a really wussy force.
Well, you can always use a recovery, and recover on the
Yeah.
one, and then attack on the other two. That's the other
Oh,
possibility.
that's true. Um,
Or you can take and reinforce Lotzen if you want over there as well. That's another thing you can do. Or you can come down into Nauru if you want, because that is a victory city down there. Of course,
yeah, but I'm not that I don't want to overextend that much yet.
I gotcha.
So but yeah, it's good advice. So I'm gonna do this. Well,
Don't take my advice. I'm terrible at my own games.
I am too. Don't feel bad. So I'm gonna do this and stop. I think.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. no,
So
that's
let me
good.
go ahead and roll for my cavalry.
Okay.
And I got a 3, which was not a great roll. And then I'm going to go ahead and roll for my infantry, which is a 5. And I did get a hit on the infantry. Or with the infantry.
Nice. Okay. So I just can't remember. I got one hit. So then up here we've got.
I'll write it down.
Okay. And I've got. I need die
Mm-hmm.
and die. So I'm gonna roll on the Panzer table here, trying to get double
What-
sixes, right?
Which one are you rolling?
The one with the 2 dice.
Okay, so yeah, that's 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Because you actually have 2 panzers, so that's why I wanted to double check.
Oh, this is so much fun. They're on the floor.
I was gonna say I didn't see them.
Alright.
Where did they go?
It went
Oh,
off the
there
table.
they are. I see them. You rolled
Let me try
you rolled a
that
2
again.
and a 6 if you want to count it, or if you want to re-roll it.
That's
go ahead.
fine. I well, since this is just for fun, that's just great.
I mean, if you want to count it, you got a 2 and a 6. But if you don't want to count it, I can understand.
I don't care. We're just playing for fun.
Okay, that's 1 hit. And
Alright, and then I've got 2 4s, right?
well, you got 2 5s there, and then you have 2 more.
I'm sorry. I have 2 5s.
Yep.
I keep forgetting.
So this will be your infantry. That's a hit.
So
And
that's
then
2 hits so far.
and then you got your panzer. Your other panzer, your army group north supporting panzer. And that guy missed.
Nope.
So you got 2 hits. That's 2 hits. So this
You got 1 hit, so I can make you retreat.
well, actually, that guy is dead. And this guy here, if you notice, one-sided. So you actually destroyed all of that. Okay? So
But no advance after combat because I took hits.
you did take 1 hit. So, but you will be in Grutziad's. And your supporting unit does have to go back to Merriweather. So take care of that first. And then I'll move the combat, and then you take 1 hit someplace. And then, yep. There we go.
I like this. It does have a little bit different feel from Belgium.
It does. It definitely does have a little bit different feel. And it's funny because, these are all my babies, so it's kind of hard to rank them. And I mean, Belgium is definitely up there because it's my first one. But right now, my favorite is the new one, which is Last One Standing, and it's a science fiction game. We played it earlier today.
Well, I saw messages about that, and I thought, well, I missed that. I had no idea what that was. Well, congrats.
Oh yeah, it's unpublished at this point. We're still waiting to get a publisher for it, but it is it kind of combines some of the mechanisms from both games into one, with some new things as well. So it's kind of cool. So Stuka that you can use that later on if you want. Although you've already, I think, activated both of yours, haven't you? So that will probably the Stuka, because the Stuka is Well, that's one combat, so that could be used in defense. So
Yeah.
you'll be able to use that if need be. Luftwaffe.
Yeah.
So if you need to slow me down. Oof, I'm not going to do very well here if I don't get any more activations or anything. Wow.
Okay. Now, see, it's bad enough you have bad dice luck in your own game, right?
Yeah.
But bad shit pull luck is like,
That's okay. That's okay. You got great pulls on that one.
I'm doing fine. I cannot complain.
You
So we're
cannot
up to-
complain at all. So yeah, we are there. I think we are good to go, and we'll continue on. So I'll go ahead because we're only on the 3rd. This one will flip on the 4th. So I didn't shuffle it. I hope you don't mind if I shuffle it.
No, go for it.
I pulled it. I realized that was the same one I pulled, I think, originally. So, all right, it's now shuffled. South.
So it's my other. Okay.
I'm apparently terrible at chit pull in this game. I should start making you pull the chits.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't complain. Let's see. Do.
Now, when you came up to the at the WBC to the Hollenspiel table, were you by yourself? Were you with somebody, or?
Well, I think I just came up with a couple friends of mine because
Okay.
I was bragging about Hollandsville games. And just
I remember the group now. I remember.
That was-
I remember a group that the person who was talking about Hollenspiel. Yes,
Yeah,
I
dude,
remember.
if you look at my avatar, it's not that far off. It's the red hair. You'd know me. So,
Okay, I'll take a look later on. That's funny.
This is really interesting because I've got a lot of strategic decisions here. Do I go ahead and invest Katowice, or do I go up north, or do I go east?
Yeah, you're surrounding Katowice. I mean, that seems so tempting at this point. That would get you up to 4 victory points.
Yeah, and Soviets. So to get Soviets in, I've got to get up to 6. So
Yeah, you got to get 3 more cities.
and that's possible. I mean, Torin's looking a little tired, and Katowice is the one. So, all right. So let's see. What do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So we're gonna go Krakow up to Katowice because I'm just a
That's fine.
wuss, really.
And the other thing you could do yep, that works.
And then the other thing, and I'm just going to go ahead. So this from Glebwitz is going to be 2 of these now. And if I want to, but I'm probably not going to. So you got Krakow, you got Katowice. So you're going to have 4. But they're
That's
not
right.
real powerful.
Nope.
And I don't get any of my bonuses, and you don't either.
Yeah, because you're going to be attacking a fort in this particular case, so you would not get. No, I would still get my cavalry bonus,
Mm-hmm.
but you would not get your panzer bonus
Gotcha.
because
Yeah,
I'm not attacking a fort. You
No,
know.
that's true. Okay, I'm going to go here. Or actually, because
Sorry, I would not be able to do that.
So you're surrounded. So we could just make these guys the support group. So I'll just do that.
Okay,
in the
let me clarify real quickly. So retreating defenders must try to avoid retreating into the following: box occupied only by enemy units, victory city controlled by the enemy. So there is a victory city controlled by the enemy. If the only avenue is one of those spaces, then I go into that box, and then I have to then suffer a hit, and then
Gotcha.
retreat again into a further valid adjacent box. So I'd have to
So-
retreat
so
all the way
this-
to turn no if I did that.
Right.
And
So if I just leave a guy in Krakow, I don't even have to worry about it.
well, it would be the same thing. It would be
Oh, I see what you're saying.
the
I see
same
what you're
thing
saying.
because it's still a box occupied by enemy units. So it'd be like
Gotcha.
but
Gotcha.
the likelihood of me surviving all of that is pretty slim.
Yeah, it's true. Okay,
If-
so all that's in. So basically, then I've just got so you got loads, you got some good stuff there. There's 3 units there. That's nice. And do I want to just go ahead and punch these guys? I got these guys way over here. That's looking pretty good. Don't want to get rowdy. Loads is I've got to do something with loads before you get going. So we're gonna run up to loads here. There'll be 1, 2,
And
3.
I misspoke. Polish cavalry is listed as losing their special dice rolling abilities
Yeah,
in
I thought you
siege
told me
growth.
that earlier, but don't worry
Yeah.
about it. Too many
No,
times,
I
but
was
get it.
no. I was thinking that if I attack with my cavalry onto Lutzen or Königsberg, that I would lose that ability, but that as a defender, I would not. But it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense that my cavalry would be running around a fort. So,
Gotcha.
I wanted to double check and see what I had in there.
Okay, so so there's nowhere just to be clear. The only place you could retreat would be Krakow.
I got to go into Krakow, and then I'd have to go back into Tarnow.
So I've moved all of my various 8,000 units up here. Should we move yours up here?
Yeah,
Should we
which
leave them?
no, we can move them up. Which one are your supporting, and which one are your primary?
The bottom row of 4.
Mm-hmm.
This one, this one, this one, and this one are the main ones, and then those 2 above them are the.
All right,
Sorry, I didn't do a better
that's
job.
fine.
Of
That's
dropping
fine.
these.
That's fine. So I'll go ahead and roll for my 2 6s, and they don't get the,
Sure.
as you said, the bonus. And I got 1 hit, and now I'm going to roll
Okay.
for my 2 5s, and I got 0 hits on that.
And you lost everything you bet all day. So okay, let's see. I'm gonna roll the Panzer first.
Which one was that?
The 14th.
Yeah, that is an example of you would only roll 1 now for that because you would lose that special ability.
Oh right. Well, I missed anyway, right?
No, you hit with 1 of them, so
So let me just re-roll then.
yeah.
All right, then I'll just grab another die since that one's being picky.
Oh, are
Okay.
you
No.
guys playing TTS?
Yes, we are. Who's on?
This is Carl. I just wanted to say hi
Oh, hey,
to
Carl.
Terry real quick.
Oh, hey, Carl.
Hey, Carl, what is going on? I have not. Well, I can't stream.
That's
So,
okay.
but yeah, bud, it's good to see you. I'm gonna try to see you guys tomorrow morning.
I mean,
unless you want to play something here in a few minutes.
Carl, if you want to
I'm-
come and join us, you can come join us on the games.
I just wanted to pop in because I missed Terry yesterday, and
Okay.
I wanted to let him know I saw him.
Well, thank you,
Yeah,
Carl.
we'll definitely be here tomorrow. So yeah, we'll pop in.
I'll see you tomorrow morning. We might do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds like
No,
fun.
Please continue your game. I don't
All right,
want to
thanks. Have a good
Yep.
one.
Bye.
So let's see.
So you rolled for the
Am I-
Panzer.
So I
Um,
missed that.
so now you
I've
have
got.
3 4s and 2 5s.
Yeah. All right. So let's start with 3 4 since I got 3 dice out here.
You're not
I-
doing too well in this.
No, but I'm enjoying playing these more this way.
And then you got
2 5s.
2
right?
5s. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness gracious! This thing is so clumsy.
Sometimes you got to click off and then click back on, and you're like, I'm going back to Vassal. There you go. So you got
Okay,
one. You
hit.
got 1 hit, right?
Yep, that's all I got.
And I
Got
got
all that.
1 hit. Okay.
So I have to
1 hit
retreat,
and
don't
1
I?
hit. So yeah, you have to retreat. So all that discussion of what was going to happen didn't
Yeah.
matter so much. I'm going to take
Did
my
not.
I'm going to take my cavalry and kill that.
Yep. All right, so I've got to put my guys. Okay, so this
Just-
guy goes back where he was. This
Mhm.
guy goes back where he was, and all of the other associated group goes here.
Yep,
I've got to
that's
take some
correct.
hits first.
Just 1.
You know what? I've got to take.
You got to take it.
one
You
hit.
got to take it on the primary. You cannot take it on the supporting until all the primaries are done.
Yep.
So
Thanks for reminding me of that.
that's a problem.
So boom, boom, boom. You get better at this. It's hard to believe. But
You do. You
You know,
do.
I really think this would be good for. I could not believe the number of old things. Like I'd love to play Brightonfeld or
Right.
one of those old
Mhm,
Avalon Hill,
mhm.
ones that don't have 300 counters.
Mhm.
I think it would be fine.
Yeah.
And still, I think
Um,
nothing to me is touched an original iPad. Those things were so good to do the stuff on.
the yeah, that would be true. The and that's like where I was thinking like Vassal. I'm like, oh my gosh, if that was on iPod, that'd be great.
Yep.
The blue and the gray on TTS isn't bad, if I remember correctly. Although I like
Okay.
I like it on Vassal too. But I was thinking of that. I was thinking of one with low density, and I seem to remember that one not being too bad.
Yeah,
but,
Check a Mog is a good game. That would be a good one to try.
Mhm.
So I downloaded a whole bunch of stuff. It's still just like, what? Vassals like that too. We just don't remember that.
Card games are really good for this. They're really easy to play card games on this. So that's the other
Okay.
thing. So is that all the battles? No, don't we have another battle up north? Don't we have one at Lodz?
Oh yeah, we do. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to pull those. So boom, 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 and that's my primary,
Okay.
and then that's my secondary group over here, and then you got the combat when you're good.
Now this is not a fort, so all the special abilities still exist.
Yep. So you can roll your cav there.
So I got one cav that I'm going to roll at a 5,
hmm
and let's roll him. And he got a 6, and then I got
Okay.
2 4s. So I'm going to roll both of those. So apply your hit for the cav, and then I got 2 more hits after that, but you don't apply that until afterwards. So that's a pretty successful outing for me as the Polish.
You can't do much better than that.
Yep.
All right. So I've got a 4. Okay. So I'm going to do my Panzer.
Mm-hmm.
So I roll 1 die, right?
No, you
And
can.
if
You've rolled 2.
Oh, I can roll 2.
Yep, because it's not a fort.
No fort.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna move one of these out of the way.
That's 1 hit.
Okay, well, but my guy's a 4 or better. He's not a 6 or better.
But
Why
you-
would that not be 2 hits?
So, in order to get 2 hits, it needs to be a pair.
Oh,
So
it has to. It doesn't have to be above the number. It has to be a pair.
It has-
So
no,
double
it-
fours,
it-
double fives, double sixes.
exactly, it has to be above the number
Oh,
and a pair.
Sorry, I misunderstood.
Yep.
I thought it just had to be above the.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep. So
Okay.
that
So that's a hit.
yeah, if you had gotten 2 5s, then you would have 2 hits. Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
So then we got a 4
Yes, you do 4. Hmm.
and then a 5.
Yep. That's a
Got
hit.
it. That's 2 hits and then a 6.
Okay.
Yep.
So you got 2 hits,
That's
and I got
hits.
3.
Yep. Okay, I can see how this game is going. All right. Well, dude, it's 5 till. You want to call it?
That's fine with me.
I've had a great time.
I appreciate
it's
it.
Nice to talk to you again, Ryan.
Yeah, nice to talk to you
great
as
looking
well.
game.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And keep an eye. This one's available at hollandspiel.com. And then if you're in, well, you're not in Europe, but if you're in Europe or UK, it's at Second Chance Games. And I know they have quite a few copies still available up there. And then, like I said, we have the other one that we're working on getting published. We've already sent it to the publisher. They're looking at it and considering it. So we're hoping and keeping our fingers crossed that one's going to get published as well. And as I said, that's a science fiction take on the whole thing. And we got a bunch of other games that we're working on, but they're just not ready.
Okay, I don't want you to talk out of school here.
Yeah,
but
well,
since you
go
didn't
ahead.
mention Tom and Mary, I'm assuming it's not them.
No. We would always send any Brave Little Belgium style game to Tom and Mary first.
Okay.
Okay. Is that fair enough?
I'll-
Is that fair enough to
yes,
say?
I will. I will quit trying to pry stuff out
Yeah,
of you. I was
yeah,
just surprised.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. And it's just that we have not heard back yet. Okay.
Okay,
and I will say
they are-
we've only sent it to one publisher.
Okay.
So I think you should you can
I
figure.
can figure this out. Thanks. All right, well,
It-
dude, this has been
I mean,
fun. Have a good rest of your convention.
You too.
And
Take care. Take care.
and, Yeah, and hopefully we'll get to see each other in person next year.
Okay, I appreciate it. Take care so much, and have
Yeah,
a
have a
great
good weekend.
YouTube. Bye.
Bye.